What is going on, crypto fam? Happy Monday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. I'm one of your co-hosts, David, and we're coming at you from our high-resolution, high-technology studio here in Sin City, Hot City, Las Vegas, Nevada, with our week-daily 10:30 a.m., 10:32 a.m. live show. Before we get into the content, quick disclaimer, nothing that's said on this channel should be taken as financial advice, so please, as always, do your own research. With that out of the way, I'd like to introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we are an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here at Sin City Crypto, we don't just do live streams, we also got other videos up as well. And then, have you liked the video? I don't have my my analytics up open just yet, but
I got news.
Don't make me check.
I got news. Breaking news.
Breaking news?
They ain't like the video.
They ain't like the video yet? Why don't y'all like the
We
video?
got 10 likes.
10 likes? That's a damn shame. All right, so if y'all could do me a favor, drop a like, unless you don't like us. And then subscribe if you haven't done that so far. And notification bell. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
That's right.
Well, Robin,
What's up?
you know, I just want to pull something up real quick. Rocco, if you can go to my laptops. Do you remember what we talked about on Friday?
Nope.
Whether Bitcoin is going to be above or below 20K? What was your answer again? I forgot.
Drawing a blank here.
Just remind me. Oh, Rocco, what did he say? Did he say under 20 or over? Robin, he said under, right?
You know what?
Well, looky, chocolate chip cookies. And by the way, I love chocolate chip cookies.
Of course you'd have some stupid slogan like that.
$20,700. Looks like we are above 20K. Robin, accept your defeat. Accept it.
Okay,
And give me my credit. Give me my
it's
credit.
coming. My time horizon is just a little off, okay? So what I said last Friday, just copy and paste that for Wednesday, okay?
All right, you can take my laptop away.
So
Not a lot of volume over the weekend. Not a lot of movement. Everything's kind of volume's actually really, really low right now. I'm sure you'll go over that in the market overview.
Yeah, man, it is. It's looking a little scary out there, you know. And so I think today would be a good day to talk about the macroeconomics, perhaps where we're going on a global scale as far as finance, world markets, stock market, European markets, all that stuff. So,
Also, we have a few flashing indicators for a Bitcoin bottom, and I think we're close. I think we just need one big leg down, and we'll go over that during market analysis. But before we get into content, quick roll call. I'll take over this time, so at least our family, our crypto fam, can have their names pronounced correctly for once. Marky Mark first in the chat. What's up, my guy? Nordy guy. Then we have Brokey Yoshi Talks. Why you loud, gang? Sir Babe, Sin City Crypto, Destroyer, Luis Talks, Wheelin' Dealin' James Wheeler, Jason Squires, Strictly Sports, my boy Steph Curry, and looks like Fino is also here as well. So welcome in. Also, if you're watching and you haven't said anything in the chat, say something. And especially if it's your first time here, say
flashing
something.
lights, flashing lights. You said there's flashing signals.
I thought I was a kid, bro. You're a kid.
I don't know how to turn it off.
We did it. We've literally done this like 3 times already. What I was saying before I was cut
took me
off by
5 minutes to
police
find
officer
it.
Robin over here, Lieutenant Robin, is if it's your first time watching our show, please drop a hello or an hola in the chat. We would love to personally welcome you to our crypto fam. So, yeah. David needs me to be his barber. I'll take it. I ain't got a lot of money, though, so, and I'm a bad tipper. So if you're okay with that, then we'll talk. Robin?
Bro, ain't nothing uglier than a bad tipper. Like the ladies can attest
I can
to
think
this.
of 2 things uglier than a bad tipper.
You know, the ladies can attest to this. Could you imagine going on a date with some dude and he leaves $5 on like a big ass check? Like you're on your first date, like automatic deal breaker, bro.
Automatic.
Unless the lady's just as shallow as the dude. But
Shallow Hal, that was a good movie. You see that movie?
you know, you never know. Sometimes forces unite, man.
Have you seen Shallow Hal or no?
Yeah.
With
but,
Jack
yeah,
Black?
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
A long time ago, though.
Rocco, how was your weekend, bro?
It was fantastic, really. Thank you.
How much espresso did you drink? 14, I guess. 14.
Are you a cappuccino guy or an espresso?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Latte?
surprise.
Espresso?
Do you use the
Cappuccino very
lady
dry.
fingers, the ones you make the tiramisu for, as a coffee snack?
Not anymore.
No?
Well, Robin's still a kid, so that's why he likes it. Anyways, Robin, please take us into our market overview.
All right. So, taking a look at the markets, Bitcoin coming in at $20,733.32.
Is that above or below 20K?
Let you think about it.
Okay.
All right, so we did take a big dip right around the same times that the stock market opened up today. We were over 21,000, so obviously we are over 20K. However, we had for the day not trending very well, down 2.22% for the day, and so as you can see here, just straight fell off a cliff once Wall Street opened. We're going to talk a little bit more about macroeconomics today. I think a lot going on in the world, and so did you like the thumbnail today?
Thumbnail was dope.
Yeah. So
Dominoes are falling, and we'll go over that in our talking points.
then we got Salvatore Militello. Sorry, I tried.
Maybe I'll do that one.
Salvatore Militello. Go ahead,
No,
Rocco.
it was good. Salvatore Militello, yes.
Okay.
Hola.
Hola! I think he's been here before.
He's been here
Yes, he's
multiple
been here
times.
before.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Welcome back, Salvatore. Also,
taking a
Bullish
look-
Kenny G. is
Take a
back
look
as
at the
well.
crypto bubbles. Look who is up 92% today.
What?
It's a stable coin that's nowhere
So
near
now
a
it's
dollar.
at 6 cents?
Where is the price at on this thing?
3 cents.
Yes.
Guys, we're almost there. I'm kidding, of course.
Now this would actually be a very good buy if it were ever to go back to a dollar.
Don't
which
ever
we-
say that.
Which we
Take it
know
back
it
right
will
now.
not.
Take
It'll
it back.
never go there.
Guys,
Yeah.
it's never a goodbye.
Luna is.
We got some Luna
poison,
news.
bro.
Apparently, Anonymous, the most well-known anonymous hackers, they are going after Mr. Doe, and we will show a video to start to sound like Coin Bureau.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I'm not feeling good today, man.
All
You know,
right.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but I'm feeling good.
So,
Thank you, Rob.
what's not feeling good is the sentiment for the traders here. Still in extreme fear. Still at 12. Little lower than we came in yesterday. Yesterday we were at 14. So people are still feeling a little uneasy. I think we're not going to get out of this extreme fear for a while. I think that we are in a recession, and so the temperature in the room is that everybody's losing money, not just stocks but also crypto, commodities. The housing market seems to have turned over.
Yep.
And we are going from we haven't had a pullback yet, but at least that overheated market is come
The
to
buying
a
spree has
grinding-
ended.
Yeah, it's come to a grinding halt. We are seeing lower home prices, from what I'm understanding. I haven't seen the numbers, but just from what
You know what?
friends
We're-
and colleagues have been telling me, it's
We're going to bring on a real estate specialist here in the next, hopefully this week. He did over 50 million. His brokerage did over 50 million in sales last year. So he's got a good pulse on the market. So I'll try to get him on the schedule for this week. I think that'll be good.
cool. Let's look. So we're red in the stock market today, but not by much. Nasdaq down over 0.5%. So we did we did have a little rebound here late in the week last week.
The Chinese market's up 2.5% almost.
So there's just a lot of uncertainty right now. A lot of things going on. You hear main headline: Wall Street layoffs likely. So I think everybody kind of understands that a recession is coming. And it's not just the stocks that are down, but taking a look here, you also have our metals are down too. So taking a look at like the gold chart, for example. So there's not really much safe haven. So when people say like, well, Bitcoin's down whatever percent, yeah, you know what? It might be down.
Even bonds are down.
Exactly.
Everything is down.
So there's really, realistically, you can't give me an asset or a place that I can park money right now that I feel like would be a hedge against the recession. Do you have anything in mind, David?
As far as what?
A hedge against recession? So it's something that's not going to decrease in value within the next, say, year. Let's just say, hypothetically, we're in a recession for a year. We're both kind of in agreement that we're in a recession now.
Yeah.
And so if it were to last a year, say we were to go further down or have a further pullback in Wall Street and all markets,
Right.
Is there a spot that you think you could park your money?
Well, typically the answer would be bonds, right? Long-term bonds, 2-year, 7-year, 10-year, 5-year. But even those are down. But not just that they're down, but inflation is at 8%. If you were in a traditional macro climate where inflation is closer to 2%, you can say, okay, I can get 3.2% on a 10-year or a 5-year bond, and I can outpace inflation. I'm not going to make a lot of money, but I'm not going to lose money either. Well, you're screwed on that end too. Because if you try to get that 3%, it doesn't matter because guess what? Inflation is at over 8%. So gold, no. Real estate, no. Cash, inflation, crypto, no.
Yeah.
Equity,
So, I mean, there's nothing. There's no safe haven. And I mean, honestly, like I said, even gold is down. But going into the pandemic, Bitcoin has outperformed gold like leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
But if you were going to make a case for gold, you can zoom out and you can see that at least precious metals compared to the dollar and our money printing, even so, okay, here's the thing. Even if you don't believe in crypto and somehow you're watching our channel, at least take your wealth out of a savings account and at least park it in gold. I mean, this is probably the only time I'll say that. But
calm down, Peter Schiff.
no, I'm just saying that it's the worst of two evils. Like right now, the absolute trash is the
Okay,
dollar.
so what about this? So if there's really nothing to be able to park your money in to make money, would you just pick the least volatile asset?
I mean, if that's your
I mean, what would
your
you
case,
do?
that would be the S&P 500.
What would you do?
Right now, I'm just taking all my L's. All right, so I'm buying Ethereum and Bitcoin right now, and I know it's probably going to pull down further, but I just have a longer time horizon.
What about oil futures?
Come on, man, get out of here.
What?
So
Seriously.
no, I'm not buying anything. I mean, that's just me. If you're going to ask my personal opinion, like I said, if you have no exposure to crypto, then perhaps the S&P 500 is going to have the least amount of volatility. Whoa, access denied. Stop.
I saw on the bonds. Is that
No.
for the bonds?
No, this is CNBC. Just shut me up, bro.
Well, I try to click on the bonds and they said access denied. Same thing with mine.
I think CNBC just went down, bro. All right. Anyways, so here, I did pull up an article. Metals haven't crashed this hard since the Great Recession. So back in 2008, we did have a big fall off on precious metals, gold, platinum, silver, copper, all that stuff.
Palladium.
And yeah, palladium, one of my favorite. And so copper has always been a good indicator, or it's followed kind of what the economy is doing.
Copper?
Yeah, because copper's used in electronics.
Right.
And in cars, it's also
AC,
yeah, in
fridge.
yeah, and basically in industry across the world, there's a piece of copper in anything that has circuitry. And so, and then even outside of that, all of your cables and wires, every single one of them is also copper. So even if it doesn't have a circuit board, if it plugs into a wall, copper. And so you can measure kind of productivity around the world with copper. Are people building stuff or people buying things? And so, copper's down. And so
21%?
no, this was 10. 10 is down 21%. Copper's not down that much.
So
but
what's going to happen to the Tin Man?
I don't know. Stay in vacation.
No repairs.
Yeah. What the hell do you use tin for anyways?
Tin foil,
Oh yeah.
Tin Man.
There's no Tin Man.
Box
Get
it-
out of here.
Yeah, there is. You've never watched The Wizard of Oz? The hell's wrong with you, Rob?
All right. So as you saw with the thumbnail, Russia has officially entered into default. They are not paying their debts, and the time for them to pay the debts has expired. This is not the only default on the horizon. We have another one in the crypto space as well.
We have multiple in the crypto space.
Yeah, and so for this one is the first one that, so because I'm covering legacy finance, Russia, this is the 11th biggest economy in the world, has just announced that they're not, or not really announced, but we just figured out,
Right.
Officially. Because
I mean, it's essentially you don't pay. It's an announcement.
they are not paying their debts. Now, we sit here and we talk about the gravity of the situation when Celsius doesn't get, when Three Arrows Capital borrowed money and had a default on because of the US DT crash. And you had also the Celsius, which was basically collateral damage. And then you had Voyager as well.
Collateral damage. And so you're seeing this domino effect in the crypto space where the liquidation of one project left somebody in massive debt that they had to default and is basically just turmoil the entire market. Now, the same could be said for nation states. We saw Sri Lanka just basically came out, and the president said economic collapse. They have no recourse in that they don't know what the hell they're going to do. Absolutely terrible times over there. Hearts go out to people in Sri Lanka. Hopefully they figure it out. But this right here could be the next domino to fall when it comes to recession. So, Rob, okay, we talk about Sri Lanka, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you curious why the IMF hasn't stepped in?
Are they a member of the IMF?
Well, the IMF.
No, but there's actually members. There's actually member nations. So there's like 200 or 400 nations.
Here's the thing.
So I'm assuming they might be in there, but
IMF hasn't reached out or lended a hand because Sri Lanka had refused to stop buying oil from Russia.
Rocky actually thought that they didn't pay because they were blocked from this.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Yeah, Sri Lanka joined the IMF in 1950.
So that just goes to show you the kind of pull the U.S. has with the IMF.
So here's the thing. So, okay. So what happened here? Why are we in default? So to zoom out, we discussed this with Crypto Blood last week.
Yeah.
Russia's ruble is actually pretty strong. They have money. A lot of their money has been
China has been just buying up
But
oil,
here's the thing:
and India.
a lot of Russia's money is locked up overseas or abroad, and there's sanctions. And so what they're saying is that, hey, we can't pay our debts because, hey, we got our dollars. We'd like to pay you, but you got them locked up. So what are we supposed to do?
They're essentially throwing it back on.
Yeah, like it'd be like somebody freezing your bank account and then
Asking you to
the
pay.
same bank account being like, "Are you gonna pay your mortgage?" Be like, "Well, you froze my bank account. How am I supposed to pay the mortgage?" Could you imagine if Bank of America held your mortgage and you had a checking account with Bank of America,
Right.
and they froze your checking account with all of your money and all of your savings, and then they said, "Hey, you gonna make this mortgage payment or what?"
That's kind of like what Celsius did.
So
Hey, you're about to get margin called. Well, I have money locked up. Nope, you got to put more money in. Like,
all
what?
right, so they were due to pay $100 million, which was due last night / this morning, and anyways, that ran out, so officially defaulted. Kremlin rejected the claim that Russia is in default. They're like, we're not in default, bro. And why do they say that? Russia made bond payments. They made bond payments due in May. But they have been blocked by the Euroclear due to Western sanctions, rendering the non-delivery of payments. They were quoted saying, "Not Russia's problem." And technically, it is your problem because you started this fiasco. But anyways, that's enough to be said. Now, attempts to circumvent sanctions took a further blow in late May. However, when the Treasury Department allowed key exemptions to expire, and so what are these exemptions? The waiver had previously allowed Russian central banks to process payments to bond holders in dollars through the U.S. and international banks on a one-to-one basis. So basically, what does this mean? They're saying, hey, if you need to pay your debts or government debts from one country to another, or in the form of bonds. And so if you have a sanction on a country saying you can't use a dollar and the bonds are US backed dollars, or the bonds are in dollars, you can't pay the bond in any other currency but the dollar. And if you withhold and limit transactions to not use dollars, you can't expect them to pay. Now, they did put an exemption saying, hey, but if you're going to pay a bond, we'll do an exception if it's a nation state paying, say, a big debt. And but of course, that exception expired. They didn't renew it, and now I just feel like there's so much political BS going on in here, man. And
Always.
That'll
never end.
I don't know if there's a right. I'm not saying that you should get rid of the sanctions, but it's not really thought out very.
Well, here's the thing.
I think they're just so quick to say, "Oh, we're going to sanction you," and then they don't think about the implications. How this going to work? You're going to still buy oil from them. You know what I mean? The European countries are going to still buy oil from you,
dude,
but you're going to say you can't use our money.
Dude,
like,
listen,
how does that work?
Germany has come out and said that they're going to have to start rationing out gas. So what are they going to do in the wintertime? People are going to have to pick between heating their homes or whatever else. I mean,
this is not new territory. It was only in the 1940s and 50s where you had rations for bread, and here in the U.S. And so,
I mean, during the C word, during the pandemic, they were rationing water.
Yeah,
you can only buy 2 cases per person or per family.
That's also a corporate and
I know. I'm just saying,
but you're talking about sanctions coming from government nation states. So basically, the government saying, "Hey, you're only allowed to purchase 10 gallons of gas a week. That's it." Like, those are things that were mainstay normal behavior in the past due to the restriction of economic trade. And so what we saw was this free trade agreement, this global network of countries shipping and trading with each other. And if you're a country and you're not sitting on billions of barrels of oil underneath your dirt, and you want to have infrastructure with cars and buses, you need to go and import your oil. And so as our world evolved, you became more and more dependent on other nation states. And so when you start unplugging entire nations, Russia's a big ass country. You've seen Russia on a map. It's like a third of the map on the right side, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at a map. On the left, you got U.S. On the right, you got Europe and China. And then you got Russia. It's like, boom, like big ass country. Like, there's so much oil there. We talk about all the oil that's in Alaska. Alaska's like this small compared to.
Here's, going back to your sanctions question. You have we sanctioned them in February, March?
Yeah, as soon as they started,
you have 4 months, 3-4 months of all right, what has happened since we sanctioned? Is it working? What negative effects has it had, and what positive effects has it had? It's literally you sit down and you look over everything like, all right, this isn't working. Let's try this. Are they doing that behind the scenes? Who knows? But it's just status quo. If you buy oil from Russia, blah, blah, blah. Well, look at Europe. Europe is about to, their economy is about to collapse if things keep going the way they are.
And then just to wrap up the article, Moscow did wire $100 million in rubles to a domestic settlement house, so basically the debt collector for this. But the 2 bonds in questions were not subject to ruble, and it wouldn't allow the payment.
Do you think the debt?
So not only did they tried to make the payment twice. So they tried to they're like, hey, can we access our dollars here? And they're like, no.
And then the debt collectors for these countries are about as annoying as the debt collectors.
These are literally the Fed. That's it's the U.S. central bank.
But are they as annoying as a regular creditor? The debt collectors here.
U.S. central bank. Like, come on, bro. At some point, somebody needs to stand up and be like, hey guys, Russia owes us a lot of money. Can we figure out some way to accept this thing? Like, let's just make an exception, or let's just use the ruble right now. And here's the thing: you're gonna sanction them, but you still want to collect. Like, I don't know, man. There's something needs to change there. You know what? Just to make things a little bit more lighthearted. What? Putin put up a.
What are snacktions?
Putin.
You see that? Snacktions. Put that back up, Rocco.
What is it?
The snacktions talks. He said snacktions only hurt the people. I never hurt by a snack. You ever been hurt by a snack?
You were eating a lot of snacks this morning.
I was hungry, bro.
He was
Did you
dipping
get
a
that?
granola bar into
Oh.
his coffee.
You leave my granola bar. I like
They're
dipping
meant to
stuff.
be crunchy.
I
Why
like
are
dipping
you-
stuff. I have a lot of fake teeth in my mouth, bro. I can't chip my crowns. So I
Now-
gotta get a
You
bridge.
didn't like the Italian things I brought it. No,
Yeah, they're in the. Yeah, I told
Why
you
did
I'm
you eat the
cutting out
Italian
sugar for a
brioche,
couple
I
weeks,
get
but
you. Unbelievable.
you don't like the Italian
So
snacks?
disappointed.
Well, I don't like what?
The Italian snacks, Rocco, brother.
I love the Italian snacks. I just already had my dose of sugar this morning, so I had to go a little granola.
So here's just to flip it up. Stay on subject, but flip it up a little bit.
All right.
Guess who decided to post another shirtless photo?
Robert Downey Jr.,
No. Who's got the most grand and most amazing for
Jack
shirtless?
Black,
Nope.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Your boy Putin, bro. Remember when he was riding a
That
horse?
fool's
Remember when he
jacked,
was like
bro.
riding a horse with no shirt on? Anyways,
Homie's Jack.
he's got no one out here fishing. So as you can see here,
Damn.
yeah, not quite as ripped up as it used to be,
Yeah,
but
he
out
lost-
here,
he stopped doing.
out
stopped
here,
hitting
you
the
know,
bench.
I'm just surprised this is the smallest fishes he got. You know, I figure like his agents and his security detail would have like filled the river up with like big ass fish, so that way
Right.
he could like reel one in and be like, "Look at that!"
Look, I cut fish.
Like, you know, or oh, you know what, like, or perhaps,
so did you? Okay, so here's what I want to know. Did you like?
yeah, like look at that. See, that's what we need right
That's
there,
called
bro.
Photoshop. What I want to know, Robin, is did you
Those are
just
real.
did you just like Google Vladimir Putin shirtless? or
No,
is that
so,
something that came
so
up?
you want to
or-
know how this came up?
Yeah,
well,
I
I
am
pulled up
curious.
an article. I don't know if you knew I even had this article. All right, so the leaders at G7
Oh.
mocked bare-chested horseback rider Putin. And so here, I hope you guys can hear this. I'm going to pull this up. I don't know how loud it is, but you got a bunch of people just making fun of Putin. And so this is what they do at the G7. Mind you, they should be talking about
This
the
is ridiculous.
the economic situation. Perhaps inflation should be a big issue. Anyways, you guys, y'all got to hear this. It's only 40 seconds, but
How many seconds?
40 seconds.
Jackie talk, Jackie.
So they're talking about Putin's shirtless photo here and about Putin here, right?
Look how confused Joe Biden is. There is ladies at the table.
Yeah, have a great night, Sharon.
Yeah, keep poking the bear. I mean, I don't,
So here's the thing. I get it. You want to keep things lighthearted.
keep things lighthearted. There's economies crumbling. There's people that can't afford rent. There's people that can't afford gas. Like, what the hell is so funny? Right?
I mean, if we do it here.
I mean,
one
we're
thing, you got the
entertainment
G7.
focused. We're entertainment focused cryptocurrency channel, but we are not making policies
Changing the world.
that will either make or break
It's a
entire
fucking joke,
families
man.
around the world.
It's a
and you got
joke.
Boris Johnson over here talking about like, yeah, let me
Shall we take our clothes off?
Shall we show them our pecs, man? Like,
All right, miss, you go first. Like, that's probably what he
a
said.
little distasteful, right?
Bro, like, that's so dumb. I mean, I'm not saying it's dumb
You
that
know
he
what?
showed it. I'm just saying.
I will say that Biden stayed quiet. There's one thing that
because
Biden
he was
does
probably
well.
formulating something in his mind, but it would take him 3 days to
He
come.
probably didn't even understand what they were talking
Biden
about.
needs 3 to 5 business days to process his
Biden
thoughts.
probably was sitting there like,
What?
what are they talking about? He's like,
Looks at his card.
he's like,
Laugh.
he's texting his like press secretary, be like, what are they talking about?
And she texts him back. We'll circle back. Oh, man. All right. Robin,
All right,
let's
and
move on.
that's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I
All
got.
right. Thank you.
Did you like my? It
Video was excellent.
was good, right?
It was good. Yeah,
It was a good little
Little insight.
traditional finance.
It was good. It was good. All right. We're moving on to our next segment of our show, The Hot Take.
That's hot.
All right. So I'm going to provide a little context here before I pose the question to our hosts, which is me and Robin and Rocco as well, if he wants to chime in. So we heard Goldman Sachs is trying to acquire Celsius's assets. Up to $2 billion. They're trying to raise money because we know Goldman Sachs doesn't have that kind of money. So they are trying to raise money from investors to purchase Celsius's assets and debts for pennies on the dollar if they go bankrupt. So here is the hot take. Are you for or against Wall Street bailing out DeFi? I will go first. I am unequivocally, bifocally, and whatever other word you want to throw in there, against a bailout, whether it's Wall Street, whether it's government, whether it's anyone.
Why would
especially-
Wall Street bail out crypto anyways?
Well, that's what they're talking about, bailing out DeFi with Celsius.
Or why would Wall Street do it?
Well, Goldman Sachs is Wall Street, right? They're part of Wall Street.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that you're not making sense.
Oh, okay,
I'm just
okay. I
saying
was
that
like, how does this not make sense?
why would
Well, then why are they trying to get investors to buy assets from Celsius?
I don't know. The FTX thing makes sense.
So okay. So why do you
a
think
crypto company bailing out another crypto company?
So
makes
why do you
sense.
think Goldman Sachs is looking into doing?
But here's
this?
the thing: you want to get into crypto, just go out and start your own crypto thing. You're not even in your lane.
Okay,
That's
so-
why it's like I just find it hella funny, bro. Like,
So okay, so we agree. Okay, a company of Goldman Sachs stature, they make calculated moves, and there's always a reason, and they're always 2-3 steps ahead. What do you think their reason is?
okay, let's just say, for example, this channel went under, right?
Whoa.
I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking. Let's just say that we couldn't pay bills or whatever. We couldn't even make our lease payment, something or another. And anyway, and then let's say Peter Schiff was like, "Hey, I'll buy it." Be like, "What are you up to, man?" Like, seriously, don't you kind of get the creepy vibe? Like,
Yes.
you're up to no good.
But why
You're
would
going?
they, like? Why do you think they would?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, Goldman Sachs has dipped their toe in the water, and the general consensus around social media, YouTube particularly, is that Goldman Sachs is trying to buy crypto assets at a discount. The only reason they would buy them at a discount, the only reason they would even pull the trigger on this, is if Celsius filed for bankruptcy. Now, if Celsius filed for bankruptcy, they wouldn't have to owe uninsured creditors,
Unsecured creditors.
unsecured investors.
Which is all the retail
Yeah.
investors.
So basically, all the retail investors will lose their tokens, okay?
they get wrecked.
They wouldn't get anything because they would file for bankruptcy. And then they would still have the tokens, though. They would still have people's assets. Now, obviously, they liquidated a portion of them.
Right.
They're underwater, so they don't have enough assets to
Hey, that
pay
steak
everybody
teeth
up.
is looking juicy to them, bro.
So now what you have is a company, Goldman Sachs, Wall Street, as you say it, or as the articles say it, or as the temperature in the room is, and they're trying to come in after bankruptcy, after everybody loses money, and then just buy coins on discount and take other people's money at a discount. Right? I mean, that's essentially what's happening. At least with the FTX, at least with the crypto side, you have a crypto company propping up another one so that way they don't go under and ultimately affect all of its users. And so here you have what Wall Street is best at. And that's why I'm like, Wall Street doesn't belong in here.
So okay.
Because you have somebody looking at a liquidation of an entire company, and all of the investors that had money locked up in there, they're just like waiting. They're like, y'all about to go under, huh?
Well, here's
All
the
right.
thing.
Once this happens, we're going to scoop up and buy your debt.
Let's look at what happened in 2008, right? When these banks were going under, and then you had these other large institutions and banks come in and scoop up their debt, or come in and essentially bail them out. What did they do with that money? Did they return it to the customers? No.
No. So here, yeah. So so there's a little different because you had the federal government providing bailout in the form of bonds and buying up corporate debt.
But there was companies that were also buying out.
They were gonna go under, and so the U.S. government just basically just handed them a bunch of cash. Like, hey, you know what? We know you were giving out mortgages. I mean, they were giving out mortgages in before 2008 to people they knew couldn't pay it back.
Right.
And the whole premise behind it
And on
was
top-
was that if you, because of the housing prices keep escalating, they knew that if you didn't make the mortgage payment, they would foreclose on the home And because of the rising value of the homes, it would foreclose on it and then sell it at a profit anyways. And so there was really no loss for them unless the underlying structure just fell out.
Here's the thing is these mortgage companies and banks don't start making money on your mortgage until about 3 to 7 years in, okay? Because there's fees, they got overhead, blah, 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 blah. So what they did was, and it's not the prices of the homes or, they did give, I mean, you were able to essentially get an affidavit saying you make $10,000 a month when you make $1,000 a month, and they would approve you for a $500,000 home. What screwed it was the ARMs, the adjustable rate mortgages. So for the first 3 to 5 years, they gave you a low interest rate, 2%, 3%. And guess what? At year 5 and on, it now tripled and quadrupled to 8%, 12%. And now people are sitting there like, holy moly.
Yeah, even outside of the percentages, you just had people buying houses outside of their means, even if you had a fixed rate. So you had people buying, that made the median average of $50,000 buying $300,000 homes.
And you know
what?
they
just couldn't physically make the payments. Here's why, okay? Here's why, and this goes to what we're talking about. Here's why I'm so against bailouts, okay? I know people in the process lose a lot of money. I know it's bad. I know the optics are bad. I know in 2008, if they let the banks fail, people would have blah, blah, blah. But look what happened as a result of the mortgage crisis in 2008. So Robin, Rocco, and I all come from a background of making cash tips. We've all worked in the restaurant industry. In 2013, when I tried to buy a home, I couldn't show enough money on my paycheck because 75 to 80% of the income I brought in was from tips. And they wanted 2 years of me depositing pretty much every single day the amount of money I make for them to approve me for a home. And that came because of the 2008 meltdown. So what I'm trying to say is we need stuff to collapse sometimes when people start doing stupid stuff like Three Arrows Capital. They bailed them out, though.
What do you mean they bailed them out? No, I'm saying
you had a potential collapse, but you had a couple big companies.
It did collapse. I mean, foreclosures were at astronomical rates.
The housing market collapsed.
Correct.
And then
after the fact, they came in and they subsidized Freddie and Fannie.
Essentially, the banks that provided the mortgages, there was a couple people went completely under, but the banks that provided the mortgages still stayed around. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they were all major contributing factors. They all got bailed out.
And guess who got
And
screwed?
so-
But those bailouts were supposed to go to help the people. It's this idea of trickle-down economics.
They didn't help anybody besides the bank. So here's the thing. The idea is that it went to help the people. But at the end of the day, all it did was stop the economy from going into a depression because that's the direction it was going to go. And if you had the collapse of a Wells Fargo, for an example, and that...
Oh, it would have caused a panic.
Not even a panic. It just literally would have collapsed the economy to a point where you're in a depression. And it would have probably taken 10 years to come out of it.
So are you saying the bailouts in 08 were good?
It just depends on what you define as good. If you define just simply going into recession and bouncing back and then inflating our money by exponentially from where it was, then if you find that good, then cool. If you think it's a better of the two to just let banks get liquidated and then just start from the ashes, 10, 12, 15 years later, I mean, I don't really know what you would consider good. So anyways, the bailouts.
So here's my thing, okay? I have zero. I don't think for a second that Goldman Sachs would purchase these assets at a discount and look to make their investors whole or the retail investors whole. I think I kind of in line with what Robin's saying. I think they're going to scoop up these assets for cheap and just dump them on the market, or
they're gonna scoop up. Hypothetically, they're just going to buy. Okay, Celsius go bankrupt, screw over all the investors, and the bankruptcy clause, they pay back the corporate investors, the big wallets, the whales. They pay them back pennies on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar, 70 cents on the dollar. Don't pay back any of their customers anything. Perhaps give them 20 cents on a dollar or something, or 50 cents. I don't know. Anyways,
50 cents on the dollar. Yeah, right.
So they're going to screw over everybody, liquidate everything. Mashinsky's going to be on the run, and then
I read something that
I saw that too. So
Say what you saw.
I tried to pull up the article and then it disappeared.
He
It's
tried to
kinda- It's
lead
kind of fishy because it was like Mishitsky on the run by FBI. I went to copy and paste the article to put in our news,
Not
and
found.
then it was like not found. I was like, that's
So
interesting.
it's speculation.
So anyways, yeah, and then Goldman Sachs is going to take all the assets on hand. You got to remember, there's a large portfolio of assets in there. I don't think Goldman Sachs is going to keep any of it outside of Bitcoin, bro, and maybe some Ethereum. So they're going to just liquidate all the alts, top to bottom, bro. And the only thing they're going to custody will be Bitcoin. But first of all, they need to recoup some of that because $2 billion is a lot of damn money.
Yeah.
And so you can't just all of a sudden pay $2 billion and then just be like, we're going to hold all these altcoins that might go to zero. And so they're going to liquidate all of those. And the only thing they're probably going to keep on hand will be
SHIB.
Bitcoin.
A SHIB.
Get out of here.
I don't even have SHIB. Yeah, I don't. I mean, we've been scorned by Wall Street. We see what they do with bailouts. We see what they do when they make record profits. They fatten up the pockets of the CEOs. They might give a little, here's a $500 bonus to our employees that have been with us for 15 years that literally make barely enough money to survive. But our CEO made $50 million last year. So no one trusts Wall Street. I don't want a Wall Street bailout anywhere, let alone in the crypto space. Celsius made bad decisions. They got to pay for their actions, and it sucks if you're stuck, if you're caught in the crossfire, if you're a retail investor, it sucks. But everyone has to learn this shit's got to come crashing down. We pick the pieces back up and we build. That's the only way to move forward, not from a bailout by Goldman Sachs. All right. That's all I got. Robbie, you want anything else for everyone?
I found some article. I don't know if I just pulled it up from Google. I didn't vet it or anything like that.
All right,
but,
I'll move on.
But
okay.
here, Celsius CEO Alex Mishitsky allegedly tried to flee for Israel. So,
What's the news source on this one?
I don't even know. It's just straight from Google.
Oh,
The Oregon Blockchain Group. So take it with a grain of salt. I just Googled to see. Usually all of our articles we vet them over, but this I just kind of Google search. So
yeah.
we'll see. Maybe he's trying to go to Israel. Man, who knows?
Who knows? All right, moving on.
What was that? The Tinder swiper or
Tinder swindler.
Tinder swindler. Yeah, he's from Israel. He was he went over there and was hiding over there. So.
What? That dude's
that guy, man.
He's my God.
You
I
haven't
mean,
watched that
talk about
documentary, take a look at it.
I saw that. I'll talk about a Ponzi scheme. All right, Rocco, let's move on. Talking points. All right, so we had our thumbnail today was defaults in dominoes, and so here we're talking about the first domino, one of the most prominent crypto hedge funds, and you know what we're talking about, Three Arrows Capital, just defaulted on a $670 million loan. As of Friday, obviously this loan was through Voyager. Voyager said it had approximately 137 million in US dollars and owned crypto assets, which leads me to our next article. Voyager issues an official notice of default to 3AC over the loan obligations. Legal action to be next. Man, today was the day they missed the June 24th deadline to pay back 25 million. They missed today's deadline to pay back anything, and this is what
Man, Russia missed the deadline to pay back, man.
Robin misses deadline to go to the doctor. So Voyager said, quote, Voyager intends to...
You have a wah 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 sound?
Too late. You can't. You got to wait. Yeah. So Voyager stated, quote, Voyager intends to pursue recovery from 3AC and is in discussions with the company's advisors as to legal remedies available. Well, they're going to be in jail. So good luck. On June 22nd, Voyager implemented a $10,000 user withdrawal limit in response to the unfolding crypto deleveraging event. If you missed our show all last week, we did talk about the bailout they received from Alameda Research. But
Let me ask you a question.
hold on real quick. Let me say this. Alameda imposed several conditions on the bailout, such as the firm securing additional funding within 12 months. Okay. What?
Bitcoin goes to, say, 10,500.
Okay.
Voyager, upside down
Oh, Voyager's gone way before
Gone?
then. Yeah.
for them?
Well, yeah.
Even with this bailout in mind?
I mean, if they don't get more money in 12 months, it's gone. Plus, they can. Here's the other thing: 75 million drawdown limit over any 30-day rolling period.
Okay, so let's just say global markets, stock market. Say the U.S. bond. Say the U.S. and the central bank start taking some L's because Russia ain't paying none of their debts. Obviously, they just filed for their own default. And let's just say negatively impacts Wall Street. Say the economy starts slowing down anyways. Say China doesn't ease up the supply chain issues because of C-word lockdowns. And so we see deeper recession. We see a deeper pullback and deeper bear market in crypto. And you think we're going to continue this cascading liquidations and failure and collapses of crypto custodial
Absolutely, bro. There's going to be
platforms and
you think a bank run is bad? Wait till you see a crypto bank run from these centralized exchanges. And like I said, we both agree. Three Arrows Capital saga is not over. It's not just Voyager. It's BlockFi, and it's other ones too. And so
people aren't talking about BlockFi's exposure, man. People are just
because
looking,
BlockFi liquidated their position, but
and then
it doesn't mean they were made
I
whole.
was looking at some older videos of ours, and it was about 3 weeks ago. We were talking about BlockFi laid off 44% of their staff.
I don't know if it was 44, but
it was 40-something percent.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
And so, you know what I mean? Like, that was writing on the wall right there, man. You know who else has laid off a lot of their staff?
Coinbase.
And you had Brian Armstrong talking about, he's like, well, we're not going to file bankruptcy. Probably not. Like,
And
we do have
probably
not.
we do have a Coinbase article, which might be a little troubling. Not trying to spread FUD,
but you need to prepare for these things, because are there exposures that we're not seeing at face value from these large institutions? Yes, Coinbase has commercials. You know who else has commercials? Other companies that have went under.
Blockbuster had commercials.
Yeah, they did. I almost said Blockbuster.
Love
Same page
Blockbuster.
there. But no, I mean, and there's no government going to bail them out. Now, Wall Street might come in and scoop up crypto assets after the fact.
But they ain't. But the retail investor at the end of the day is going to get
and
left
how
holding a bag of
much
nothing.
money does FTX have? I mean, they can't. We're also in a bear market, so FTX ain't making a lot of money. The transactions are probably down. Taking a look at the crypto. Look at this crypto volume, bro. $53 billion, man.
That's low.
This is the lowest I've seen it since 2018. $50 billion is nothing,
That's
bro.
extremely low.
And so it will not take, because of the trading volume, just keep this in mind. This is peanuts. This is potatoes. This is pennies compared to the global scale, compared to what whales and institutions have. And so any bit of dumping on the market with this amount of volume is going to absolutely crush the market. You saw what happened. We went from 30,000 down to 20,000 in 48 hours. And we dipped all the way down to 17,000. That was with more liquidity, and that was with more volume. And we're sitting at 53 billion. So it's not going to take much to knock this thing down. And you know what? I feel like a lot of people that were buying the dip, they've already spent the gunpowder, bro. I mean, even myself, I don't have a lot of, I bought a lot of Ethereum at 1,200, which I think is a good deal. It's a great deal. I'm not upset. But let me tell you, if Ethereum dips down to 800, I only got so much more cash on the side to buy. You know what I mean? And so the retail investor is not going to be able to prop up a dipping market because they've already spent a lot of damn money.
Right.
And so, yes, people are going to take advantage of lower prices. But as you hang out in the bear market and as you take steps further down, people are running out of ammunition.
There's just going to be so much sell pressure. I think we have to keep in mind the most key factor to downward selling pressure, which is the miners. They started
selling, yeah.
They started the capitulation, and it's not over. Like, it's not over. And I'm actually going to show a chart on that during our market analysis. But back to the article, Voyager CEO Stephen Ehrlich further added that the company is working to strengthen its balance sheet and continues to pursue other options to meet liquidity demands. Voyager, I don't care. I don't care what they say. Voyager is in trouble. If you have any money on Voyager, I would take it out. Honestly, if you have any money on any exchange, I would take it out. We just got approved. I don't know if you guys have hardware wallets or not, but we just got approved as an affiliate sponsor from Trezor. So we'll have that link. We'll start dropping that. So if you guys want to custody your own crypto, I use a Trezor. I use that, or I love it. So we'll drop that in there. And if you have any questions, you can always ask. We'll be more than happy to help if we can. Guys, custody your own stuff. I like Trezor because it connects to my Exodus wallet on my desktop, and I can just swap the coins in there. Yes, I do pay a little bit of an extra fee, but I don't care. I'd rather have control of my own crypto than watch a company like Coinbase go under. If a company like Coinbase or FTX or Crypto.com, if they start faltering, guys, it's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be panic. And guess what? Bank runs are going to happen. Withdrawal limits, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's going to freak out. It's not going to be good. Get ahead of it. Don't wait. Custody your own cryptocurrency. All right. Let's move on. You know what? I'm going to go to this article because we're talking about Coinbase. Moody's, which is in charge of handing out credit ratings, downgrades Coinbase due to bear market, warns it may not be the last. Credit ratings agency Moody's has downgraded the corporate family rating, or the CFR, and guaranteed senior unsecured notes of crypto exchange Coinbase. The CFR is a rating assigned to reflect Moody's opinion of a company's ability to honor its financial obligations. It was downgraded from a BA2 to a BA3, which is considered below non-investment grade. Coinbase's revenue model, quote, is what Moody's said, quote, is tied to trading volumes, transaction activity per user, and overall crypto asset prices. So Moody's is throwing out a warning. Now, I'm not saying they're the end-all, be-all. You should, just because they downgraded someone, you should go ahead and sell everything. No, but this is literally their job. This is what they do. They look and say, all right, how does this company make money? What do their balance sheets look like? If something happened. And so with the cryptocurrency markets the way they are now, they downgraded them. Non-investment grade. I mean, so essentially, the junk bond? You throw it in the junk bond category? I don't know. Maybe. Rob, what do you think? Is this, I know it's not a bond, but junk bond or what?
Coinbase stock?
Junk? Oh.
Actually, I think it's a good time to buy Coinbase stock.
Non-investment, below non-investment grade.
Yeah, that's what they also downgraded El Salvador too. So.
That's what I'm saying. You take it with a grain of salt, but
no,
nonetheless,
what? If I only had exposure to Wall Street and I didn't have any exposure when it came to crypto, like spot market, buying physical Bitcoin, I probably would be picking up Coinbase. What's their ticker? Coin, right?
Coin, yes.
So here, pull up my laptop. So we can take a look at their they came out $250. I remember I was talking to somebody at work, my old job or the other job I was working at for a little bit. Anyways, I was talking to somebody and they were like, "Hey man, how do you feel about or he was like, I'm getting Coinbase. I'm buying some Coinbase stock." And I'm like, "Bro, wait for it to pull back." He's like, no. I'm like, bro, just wait. Just freaking wait, man. It's going to pull back. Like, especially with any IPOs, it's usually comes out hot, especially if it's like you see it on CNBC and NBC and all these other channels before fact. Anyways, it came out at $250. And then at the height of the market, $350. And so where we're at now, $50, man. I mean, we're talking a 6x just to get back to the 330. So if you believe that Coinbase is going to be around now, I custody my own crypto. For one, I don't want nobody knowing about my crypto. You know what I mean? I don't want governments out there, because technically the government could seize your crypto funds if they wanted to. We saw what happened in Canada. where, I mean, even remember when who was it? One of these CEOs for a major exchange was literally like, "Hey, maybe you should probably just custody your own crypto." I'm like, bro, if a CEO of an exchange is telling you to custody your own crypto because of regulations by government entities, like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do today. Maybe next week, all of a sudden, I'm being investigated for something. I don't know. You know, we have a YouTube channel. We're very vocal. I don't know. I could very easily be investigated for something.
Maybe you're being investigated right
And
now.
so for me, and I don't know how y'all feel, I don't want my assets. That's the whole reason I'm into crypto, because I don't want somebody to seize my bank account. And other reasons too, but that's one of them. And so if you believe that crypto's going to be around, if you believe that Coinbase is going to be around, because I truly believe they will, I just don't want to keep my coins there. I'm just taking extra precaution. But it's a possibility they could go under. Highly doubt it. And so with that assumption, I think it's a great buy. $50, $50 for the stock right now, and with the potential upside of a minimum of $300. Let's just say if they don't go under, David, next bull run, they're going to be over $300, right?
Probably.
There you go. So if I only had exposure to stocks, yeah, I'll buy it. Now, is it riskier than, say, the S&P 500 as an example? Yeah. Is it riskier than the NASDAQ? Yeah. So it's all about your risk tolerance. What is your risk versus reward? Because if you want, you can also just invest in NASDAQ. You're probably going to get a 4X out of that thing anyways in 10 years. And so if you have a long time horizon, I mean, it's a safer bet that way. But, you know, it just depends.
Right.
But anyways, man, yeah, the grading, I don't care about credit rating. I think that shit's going to be gone. I think
You don't.
10 years
you don't
from-
care, but investors care.
20 years. Yeah, no. I'm just saying my personal opinion. And you know what? I could not care about my own credit rating, but the fact of the matter is that I do need to care about it if I want to use the system that we have here in the United States. And if I want to go buy a house or maybe buy a new car and I don't want to just straight pay in cash up front, if I need some kind of financial leverage in the form of a loan, I gotta have credit.
Right.
Even if I want to go, you know, even if you buy a house and you want to go get utilities, you got to have some kind of credit to get utilities,
Right.
or you got to pay deposits up front.
Right.
So, you know, whether you like it or not, you got to adhere to credit ratings. But I think we're weaning off of them. And I think crypto offers an avenue to where we can get away from these traditional institutions controlling your livelihood by a straight up rating that they come up with out of thin air. Because they're not guidelines dropped in from regulators. It's just some corporate like, let's make is Experian back in the 80s. Let's make a rating. 700 good.
They've changed the
500
FICO thing
bad.
like 6 times. Anyways, let's move on. Anonymous, Anon hacking group will investigate Do Kwon's crimes. They posted a video, and we're going to show you that video. But they revealed all the recent events that the press has been talking about, including Do Kwon pocketing $80 million each month. Let's see what they got to say.
It is obvious to us that Do Kwon has plenty of secrets and he has been very sloppy in his execution. Multiple governments are conducting their own investigations into the scammer, but so are we. Anonymous is looking into Do Kwon's entire history since he entered the crypto space, to see what we can learn and bring to light. There is no doubt that there are many more crimes to be discovered in your trail of destruction. Do Kwon, if you are listening. Sadly, there is nothing that can be done to reverse the damage that you have done. At this point, the only thing that we can do is hold you accountable and make sure that you are brought to justice as soon as possible. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. Expect us.
So, first of all,
Dang, that's some dope ass stuff right there, bro.
Do Kwon, more like Doo Kwon. Second, if you were Doo Kwon and you saw this, would you be scared? These dudes, first of all, they look scary.
They,
The guy,
they
he's got a
have
weird smile.
literally
I mean,
exposed nation states. You know, we saw Anonymous exposing.
look at this face. But pull up the face.
Was it the CIA?
This
that-
face doesn't scare you? I mean, he's got a little half smile, and you can't see his eyes, and he's got a weird goatee thing, and it looks like Crypto Stash's mustache. Right? Inverse head and shoulders, you said? So, look, all jokes aside, these guys, I know they're anonymous groups. Some people write them off. For me,
they've literally exposed government agencies.
Yeah.
Remember they had a lot of leaks for the CIA.
Yeah.
A lot of the WikiLeaks stemmed from some of this organization as well. They've went after, was it North Korea a couple times? Anyways,
they're legit.
they ain't playing around. So if you're just an individual, if they're able to break in to break in to entire government agencies of the most powerful countries and infiltrate their infrastructure and get sensitive, protected information out of their data centers, then what do you think somebody's personal account, personal email, personal bank accounts, personal text messages, that's going to be so easy for them to find, right? Compared to the history that they have. They've taken down some big ass players. So just one dude? Shoot, bro. I'd be nervous, man. Just saying.
80 million a month. Can you imagine if that's true? 80 million a month. This dude was siphoning money.
So you got to remember that, when at face value, a lot of these companies that we see that are underwater, like let's say Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, you got to think, yeah, they lost some money by bad investments, but I bet you anything that the CEOs, the board members, the founders, the prominent figures in these companies, they had some frivolous spending. What do you think Mashinsky was driving? What kind of car do you think he had? Cars. What kind of home do you think he had? What kind of lifestyle? I mean, we went to Bitcoin Miami. They had a nice booth. It was set up. It was tall. They had all kinds of stuff. How much do you think they had the conference room? Like, how much money? That's money, investor money they're spending.
Right.
And so when you zoom out and you look at the dinners and the travel and the car and the houses for all of the people from top down, this is how you get into these problems. And so Do Kwon spending $80 million, wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. He probably had boats. He probably had cars,
Boats
houses.
and hoes. Gotta
probably
have
was
me
just-
my boats and hoes.
You never know, just spending money. And then you got all of his buddies, all of the other board members.
They're the Terra Luna thing is far from over. Like, there's gonna be some nuggets that come out of that. They take them to trial or whatever.
South Korea banned them from leaving the country.
Not only current Terraform employees from 4
Was it
years
South
ago.
Korea or-
South Korea.
or was it-
North Korea?
No, I was thinking it was Taiwan.
No,
Or
it's South Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea. Not only are they stopping current Terraform employees from traveling outside the country, but even if you worked for them 4 years ago, but you quit a year and a half, 2-3 years ago, they're still making you stay in the country. This thing is serious, man. And we're going to see tidbits come out, information come out, shady stuff. Other projects are going to get brought into it. Names that we're all familiar with, big names. You're going to be like, holy moly. This thing's got tentacles, and it's more far-reaching than I think any one of us could expect. So it's like a soap opera to be seen. The Daily News. All right, let's move on. Our favorite. If you're a member, drop Gary the Gun Gensler. Drop his emoji into the chat because we're talking about Gary. SEC Chairman The Gun calls Bitcoin a commodity. Calls Bitcoin a commodity.
It's a good first step. Way far off of where he needs to
I
be.
feel
But
like
you know
he's-
what? At least he agreed. At least we got that out of him, right?
I feel like he's been, like babies. I don't know how many of you have had kids, but a baby starts army crawling and then regular crawling and then standing up, falling and standing up, taking. I feel like he just had his hand on the coffee table and took his hand off and took a step forward. I feel like that's where we're at with Gary. So we have a lot of growing up to do, but at least we've taken that first step. Said that Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency he was prepared to publicly label a commodity. Robin, just real quick, are you shocked that Ethereum isn't in this? Because
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. you have an ongoing lawsuit with XRP that has been around for almost the same amount of time as Ethereum, and that share a lot of similarities. And one of the biggest points that we've had, or arguments with the current XRP lawsuit, has been over the former SEC chair deeming Ethereum a security or sufficiently decentralized. And so that is a talking point. So not at all surprised that the current SEC chair is all like, yeah, just Bitcoin. He might personally think Ethereum is a commodity, but if he says Ethereum is a commodity, instantaneously XRP lawyers are literally going to be like, yo, like how are you going to say Ethereum's a commodity,
Right.
and XRP isn't? So not surprised.
Yeah.
You gotta take into account what's going on.
I think ETH moving to proof of stake is going to hurt their chances of being officially labeled as. I mean, I know they've been officially labeled as a commodity, but from the SEC standpoint,
Yeah, you're taking a step backwards when it comes to decentralization.
yes,
And you can make an argument. You have the blockchain trilemma where you have scalability, centralization, and
Security. Decentralization, scalability.
and yes. And so, as you got to give up one or the other. So Ethereum obviously slow, right? And you don't want to give up security,
or decentralization.
so you don't want to give up security.
Oh, you're talking about moving
not
forward?
on the base chain. You don't want to,
You're talking
as
about moving forward?
Ethereum's roadmap.
Okay.
You don't want to give up security. We
Yeah, you
see what
can't.
happens.
That's the last thing. Yeah.
So you got two other pillars here, or two other corners of the triangle. So you got scalability and decentralization, and you need to scale, right? We all agree Ethereum's too slow. It needs to scale.
We agree.
And so, hey, you gotta give up one for the other. And so what we're seeing here is you can essentially control the network with a certain amount of money. Now, with that said, not at all like controllable, because it's a pretty large ecosystem. The mining, or the stake pools, are broken up into a way that it'd be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to control the whole network, because you have to basically control all the mining pools and different little sections and people. Anyways, very difficult. But just wanted to say that. So there you go.
Steph Curry brought up a really good point. He said, crazy how much Gary resembles Mr. Burns. Rocco, pull up my laptop. Gary, Mr. Burns. Gary, Mr. Burns. Gary Burns. Gary Burns. Gary Burns. I mean, the
Now,
man's got a point.
Who would you trust to sell your house?
Mr. Burns.
Burns? He's a slimy dude, bro.
He is. So is Gary.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you put more trust in
I
Mr.
would
Burns
sell my
over
own house. I would sell my own house and risk going to jail by selling a house that I'm not licensed to sell. Anyways, Steph, thank you for that comedic relief. Now, he explained that the investing public was hoping for returns on cryptocurrencies they invest in, just like they do with other registered securities, which leads me to the next article, which is right in line with what we're talking about. Oh, there's Mr. Burns yet again. SEC chairman calls for one rule book for crypto. Gary the Gun has proposed one rule book for the regulation of crypto. He's looking to strike agreements with other financial regulators, including the CFTC, to avoid gaps in the oversight of the crypto sector. He told the publication, the SEC chief elaborated that the rules should protect investors against fraud, front-running, and manipulation, in addition to providing transparency over order books. The rule book will apply to, quote, all trading, regardless of the pair, be it a security token versus a security token, security versus commodity token, etc. He explained that if a commodity token is listed on a platform overseen by the securities regulator, the SEC would, quote, send that information over to the CFTC. Now, this kind of makes sense, right? Because let's say you use an atomic swap, or you use Cosmos, or whatever the case may be, and you have a officially recognized commodity by the SEC being traded for an officially recognized security by the SEC. Well, what jurisdictions does that fall in? So he's talking about, let's get together and let's send each other information we have, and stuff happens. So in theory, it makes sense. But do we trust them? No, we don't. Do we trust that they will do the right thing? No, we don't. I'm still in the bank, and I know you disagree with me. Just create a whole new sector of government to rule over digital assets. That's my thing, man. Or else you're going to have this back and forth. Oh, it's commodity. Well, it was traded like this, so it should be under commodities. No, it was traded like security. People made money, so I gotta look at it. It's just bullshit. Just create a digital asset task force or whatever the hell it is, or a digital asset exchange commission or something. I don't know. Put someone at the head of it who understands law, who understands blockchain, who understands crypto. And yes, I get it. Different parts of crypto, DeFi has different things that fit into this basket. Well, create a large basket and little sub baskets, and you can have one authority rule over it all. Leave the SEC out of it. Leave the CFTC out of it. Leave everyone out of it except that task force. Put a 1 if you agree with me. Put a 1 if you want to see a brand new branch of government to rule over crypto, or if you want to keep watching Gary the Gun and the CFTC fight over each other.
You know what else they should keep out of it? Your opinion in this damn show. First of all, you made no damn sense, bro. How are you going to agree that Gary Gensler is going to want to create a one rule book, bro? You have emerging technologies that are going to change the landscape of the financial sector, our world, information, data storage.
Before we move on,
you can't just put a book that says, hey, if it trades like this, it trades like that. You know what? No. You know what you need? Right now, we have a bill in front of Congress that addresses all of these needs. It splits up the responsibility to other corresponding arms of the or branches of the financial institution, our government. And so it makes sense. That makes sense. And what you have here is somebody that essentially at the moment controls the power when it comes to regulation in cryptocurrency, losing that grasp. He sees on the horizon that the CFTC and the Treasury Department are becoming more pronounced figures in the cryptocurrency space. They are a lot more lenient and a lot more understanding, and they bend a little bit more when it comes to crypto, instead of just saying, well, come in and register as a security. How the hell is these decentralized platforms supposed to come in and register as a security? It breaks their entire business model. Literally, like, how is it, like, even Vitalik can't come in and register as a security. He doesn't own the network. He just has a bunch of tokens. That's it. And the same thing can be said for Cardano.
You're wrong.
For XRP.
You're wrong.
So many of
them.
You're wrong.
And XRP got sued.
Yes, my point exactly. And so now you are seeing people that are losing. You're seeing an institution that is losing their capability of regulating the industry that they're currently regulating. And there's a proposal out there right now that has a blueprint, a game plan, and it's been endorsed by a lot of the heads of cryptocurrency, the CEOs and things like that. Charles Hoskinson is in favor of it. Vitalik is giving it the green light. I mean, I'm sure Satoshi.
But you're over here talking about you can't sue them. Literally, there's a lawsuit at the SEC right now.
I didn't say you couldn't sue them. I said that you can't ask
them to
register as a security.
If you can ask them to come to court because you want to sue them, you can ask them to come down and register as a security.
These are the founders. I mean, you could say the same thing. You could have the founders come in and register as a security too. Like, what are you going to get Satoshi to come down here? Hey, Satoshi, why don't you come down here? We're going to sue your ass.
Okay, that's the one anomaly, bro. Everyone else has a face.
Everybody else
has a founder. Vitalik, Charles Hoskinson, Gavin Wood, Dudu Kwan. You name it. They have someone at the head, okay? And until we see another Bitcoin-style anonymous disappears, no one knows who the hell it is, that's what it's going to be. And it's never going to end. It's never going to end. As long as this guy's
how it's going to end?
In the chair.
With the bill proposed that they have now, that's a start, okay?
You know how far, bro, you know how far that bill is to get accepted and to get signed off by the president?
The bill has been proposed. They just have to vote on it. They just got to put it in front of the House of Representatives.
You know why? Because they're going to debate in the House and they're going to debate in the Senate, and then the House is going to say, we make these changes, send it to the Senate. No, we want to make these changes.
Let me also tell you, man,
create back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until 3 years go by, and then we have a new administration, new this and that. No, they're going to be more for crypto,
what's
more against crypto.
The worst idea is this all create a brand new branch of
Why
government.
is that the worst
that is
idea?
absolutely
Why?
terrible.
Okay,
because
explain.
you already have the infrastructure already there. You just have to assign responsibility. That's it, man.
They can't even figure that out.
All you need.
They can't fucking figure it out. Start from scratch. Start from scratch. If you're over here like little kids, CFTC, blah, 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 SEC, blah, 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 and they keep fighting with each other and nothing gets done. Start from scratch, build from the ground up.
Did they build an internet department?
What?
No, I'm just saying you have you have new emerging technology, and like when new emerging technology comes in, when it comes to privacy, you put it in certain spots.
I get it.
You know,
but
like
this is
if
so
all of a
unique.
sudden,
Crypto is so unique. Blockchain is so unique because of what you say. Part of DeFi falls into securities. Part of the coins and tokens falls into commodities. Have we had an industry, a burgeoning industry like that in the last 20 years? Probably not.
but
And
each characteristic that you labeled falls into another category. And so if you want to buy and hold a store of value, there is already thousands of examples. You can look at gold, you can look at stocks, you can look at whatever that do exactly that. And if you want to use it as a utility, there's things that are exactly the same that are regulated. In the same way that, like, if all of a sudden you decide to build a new house that's completely different from the old mold, if you just happen to buy and sell homes that were just came off of a construction line and it just plotted down in the ground, you're not going to go create a brand new, well, you know, the old housings, you had to get a license and a building permit and then have it inspected and this and this.
That is, you're
not gonna
comparing apples to grapefruit.
It's literally, it's a new head
you're
of a
comparing
different market.
bananas to kiwis.
No, I'm just saying.
You're comparing cookies to milk. I mean, that's actually a really bad analogy. Look, I'm right, you're wrong. Let's move on. All right. Chat, who do you side with? All right. If you're a crypto fan member, if you're a member of our channel, use our head emojis. David, if you agree with me, Robin, if you agree with Robin, or just put a 1 for David, 2 for Robin, because I'm number 1. You feel me? What's up? All right. We are you know what? Let's talk about one more article. All right. Should we talk about Hoskinson pitches software-enabled crypto self-regulation?
Okay, so Hoskins, this is number 1.
This is number 1. Charles Hoskinson went to Congress and said, we don't need you to regulate it. We can have software regulate crypto. We can talk about Filmcoin, first film to be fully funded by crypto.
This is 2.
This is 2. Or we can pick one of these NFT ones, Magic Eden or Ledger.
An NFT article is 3. Let's just put, and
Yes.
we'll graze over both.
Hoskinson, Congress, 1. Filmcoin, 2. NFT, 3. Cast your vote, friends.
And then in the meantime, I will say that today I will not be on Around the Blockchain. So if you guys were expecting that, but we will be there tomorrow.
Yes.
So BitBoys channel. So if you're fans of ya boy up there on, but you know I don't lose, man.
What are you, 4 in a row?
I don't. I think I'm 5 in a row now. I mean, I'm on
Someone,
streak 5.
I think someone in like after the fact, last time you were on, they said, you spoke more than DZ.
Man, you know what? It's, you know, I get a lot of practice arguing and speaking my point with this guy.
All right, looks like no one's voting. So, Robin, you know what, Rocco? Why don't you pick, my friend?
Salvatore voted 1.
There's
So
gonna be a
we have
delay.
1 vote for 1.
Keep in mind there is a delay, you know, like 20
Oh,
seconds.
yeah, you're right.
So, but yeah, let's do the first one. I like the
Hoskinson?
idea. Yeah,
This
because
is very
I-
interesting.
I watched the whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yeah, and what I was surprised at was why I wasn't there Gary Gensler. I mean, there was the head of the
CFTC?
exactly, and then I don't understand why he wasn't there. So why didn't he call him out?
I don't know, man. Maybe
He
he
had
only,
a lunch, bro. You didn't hear about
he's
that?
like
He was
one of
at
those
brunch.
like little gremlins that only come out like a certain time of the day. Like,
Then you could touch the waters, it produces itself.
yeah, look at the article of Gary Gensler, the one you pulled up earlier.
This one?
Yeah, look at his little beady eyes, bro. Look at that, man.
He sounds like he talks like this. And we're going to get to see him.
Stop making, yeah, no, I'm just saying he got these little like black little beady eyes. They're like pull up David's laptop. They look like that's like scary movie eyeballs, bro. It's like all black. They just like suck your soul out, bro.
somebody did a Photoshop with from the movie It. The
Yeah,
clown.
yeah, I saw that.
Somebody
That was
did
funny.
Photoshop, that was crazy.
That was scary, actually.
That was scary.
Scary and funny. All right, so let's talk Hoskinson because we're getting a little
I did
behind.
see the. I did watch that whole interview.
I
as
didn't
well.
watch the entire thing. I
It was
watched
good,
the
man.
20-minute highlight one. But so here's an idea Mr. Hoskinson brought us.
I'll pull up the video.
Okay. Cardano co-founder Charles Hoskinson has told Congress it should make regulations for crypto but leave compliance up to the software developers. This is an interesting take. He goes on to say, it is a public-private partnership. What needs to be done is to establish those boundaries. Then what we can do as innovators is write software to help make that happen. So essentially write code, just like a smart contract. When certain things happen or certain benchmarks are met or information is given or received, then the software automatically will execute those demands or whatever the case may be in the contract. Hoskinson replied that the ability of cryptocurrencies to store and transfer data meant they could carry out much of this regulatory work automatically. He suggested that the industry could create a, quote, self-certification system that could automatically monitor compliance until an anomaly is encountered, at which point, then, would a financial authority review it. Rob,
So here, I'll pull this up real quick.
the chat's dead. Y'all all right? Say hi if you're still here. Well, hold on. What was that lady's name? Fish what? Fish Patch?
Lawrence Fishburne.
No, not.
This is somebody else's YouTube.
Thanks,
so,
Rocco.
So
Appreciate
we
it.
have
Welcome.
we got
Right
this
here.
guy in a corner here. I don't know who
What's
he
his
is.
name?
thread throughout the
Well, make sure we
entire
give him
hearing
a.
is the
We're gonna play his
notion of
video.
instead of worrying about
What channel is
specifics,
he?
Let's worry about the intent.
Thank you very much. And I know we just have a few seconds left, but
Can you
there's
get
a
a little
lot
more
of
juice? 'Cause I
discussion
can't-
about whether we should regulate certain cryptocurrency as commodities or securities. What do you think might the benefits, and maybe you could talk just a little bit about that. What are the drawbacks, things like that?
Well, with 37 seconds,
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, the gentleman can take as much time as he requires.
Oh, thank you,
oh,
Mr.
well,
Chair.
I
There you go.
appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, don't push it, but
It's a fine line
You
here.
got to be careful. I'm Italian. When you look at cryptocurrencies in general, I've always viewed them like financial stem cells. They're kind of more fundamental than a particular category, like a currency or a commodity. And really, it depends on the markets they're traded on and the use and utility that they have. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what public policy considerations are you attempting to satisfy? Is it sanctions compliance? Is it consumer protection? Is it market stability? What we do as an industry is we're all about transparency. So it's kind of funny we're talking and debating about disclosure regimes. There's no other financial asset in the world that really is as transparent as a cryptocurrency. Every transaction from the very beginning for Bitcoin, for example, from January 3rd, 2009 is known. Every single one, the holdings of the... Hi, everybody. Chairman Maloney, Ranking Member Fishbach, members of the subcommittee, and congressional staffers
This
who
was
worked
his
so
intro.
hard. Thank you for inviting me to testify at this hearing. I applaud the work of this subcommittee, and I appreciate
That's all I got.
you all taking the...
So, Robin,
So, anyways,
what are your thoughts?
There was
man?
also another. There was also another.
Intervention.
Yeah, there was a couple other good spots. I don't have the time to sit here and. Oh, actually, I think it's right here. Yeah, actually, this is what I want you guys to watch. All right, so this guy right here.
And then at the end of the hearing, Charles brought it all together and looked at it in terms of like, okay, well, instead of worrying about what are the deficiencies that we have right now, maybe we can take a look at what some of the strengths are
Who's this
of
guy?
blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies.
Is he only do
and
his
how we can use
Cardano
that
videos?
in favor
I don't know, but it's
of
his channel, so we
regulation.
should
This
definitely say
congressman
what
was
channel
talking
he is.
about how he was very concerned about cryptocurrencies and their volatility and how there's over 20,000 cryptos and how could you possibly regulate them all.
I'm interested in any comments that any of you may have on, of the 20,000 cryptos, how you determine who should be regulated.
Well, one of the powers of our industry is the fact that regulation can become algorithmic. So you don't have to think, well, which person's going to sit down and look at this big pile? Think of the IRS and tax returns. We could quadruple the size of the IRS, we still couldn't audit every single American. It's just not possible. And so what you have to do is say, what tools do we have at our capability? And what's magical about cryptocurrencies is that in the transactions themselves, they can carry metadata, they can carry identity. Rule makers and policymakers can take a step back and say, well, these are the things that we care about, and we can make sure inside the systems that those things don't settle and clear until those things are present. So it's really more of a conversation of what do you care about, and then what we can do as technologists is create a self-certification system, and then what can happen is when there are anomalies or special cases, which often would be rare, then the CFTC or another regulatory body could look through and say, well, let's investigate that. That's generally how we do law enforcement in the nation. We don't break into everybody's house. We wait until we get a warrant, and you have to have some cause for it. So there needs to be some social infrastructure for that.
So self-certification is different than an agency regulating.
Well, they're interconnected. So you have SROs, you have market standards, you have principles, and in many cases, financial regulation is mostly done by SROs or private organizations. If you look at, for example, compliance, it's not the SEC or the CFTC going out there doing KYC and AML. It's banks that are doing these types of things. So it's a public-private partnership, and what needs to be done is to establish those boundaries, and then what we can do as innovators is write software to help make that happen. And literally, that's what Chainalysis is doing right now and their competitors.
Absolutely perfect response and a slam.
So yeah, basically just covers exactly what you said in the article. And so the premise is that instead of having government agency saying, hey, it needs to be like this or like that, then, hey, just give us the parameters as a blockchain developer. Give us the parameters. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? You want decentralization? You want KYC? You want this? You want that? You tell me what you want. We'll build it into the software, and then we'll just make it clear, cut, and simple. Right now, nobody knows what the hell the government wants. Like SEC, Gary Gensler will sit here and say, hey, come in and register as a security, but like, what does that mean? That's so vague. You know what I mean? You don't even know what you're registering for. Like, how are you supposed to regulate? How are you supposed to move forward? How are you supposed to issue out tokens? How are you supposed to, like, there's so many question marks that are unanswered. And so I don't think, going back to what we were saying, I don't think it's black and white as creating one rule book. It's, hey, these are the parameters that we're looking for. Can you guys build something for, this is what we need to see. And, it's those partnerships, and it's that the government entities, that these congressmen, people that make the policies, listen to what our developers have to say. Because if you don't listen to what they have to say, and you're like, no, you need to come in here and do it like we say, and you don't have an open mind to working with somebody, you're never going to get anywhere. So that's
you like
the thing is that they tell you, okay, come and talk to us, and then you don't know. Oh, you do your stuff, and then we'll see, and then you'll see, and then you just want to find it.
Not only you're like you're committing suicide as an institution by going in, or you have the potential of that, because they could have you want to fit a certain business model or mold that is publicly traded companies that, are securities. Right. Like, well, you need to operate like Apple. Be like, well, we're a blockchain. We're decentralized. We can't operate like Apple. Well, you came in, you registered as a security. That's what you signed up for. Like that's why the chains don't want to do it.
Right.
Because they're not publicly traded companies. They're not Ford. They're not General Motors. They're not Netflix. They're not GameStop. They're completely different. And so there are aspects that you can attribute to it, but this one rule book, absolutely terrible, bro.
And I thought they didn't take advantage of Charles. They didn't ask so many questions. I think that they can use him way, way more in the
I don't know, man. I'm just really bullish on the fact that Congress is listening, or at least seems to be.
Some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are. And that they're having
some
this
of them
open
hear only
dialogue.
what they want to hear.
They're having open dialogue. Seems like they're trying to figure out how to regulate it. There is the Cynthia Lummis bill that's in office. The president issued an executive order for the branches of government to come up with something. And so hopefully this thing lays out in a good way. I don't know.
We'll see.
That's all I got.
All right, let's move on. Last segment of our show, the market analysis. All right, take a gander. So when you checked, when you did yours in the beginning, Robin, was it at 50 or 54 billion?
There's like 54 billion.
54. All right. So a little uptick, not too big. Bitcoin's sitting at 20,800. ETH is down under 1,200 just by $1. BNB 235, and then Dogecoin back into the top 10, pushing Polkadot out. There's a lot of headway in Polkadot. A lot of they keep expanding their parachains, and every time a parachain gets locked in, so do millions of dollars worth of DOT tokens. It's probably what's keeping the price above $7. But I want to talk today about Bitcoin and share some good news. Okay. Now, I want to preface this by saying that there are so many indicators, whether it's on chain, technical analysis, fundamental analysis. We look back at history. What has it done? But things are different, and we don't know whether Bitcoin analytics are going to follow and replicate what they did in the past, or because of a shift in macro, we're going to see it do something it's never done before. But if we keep on the trajectory of what we've done through every bear market coming out of it and all the cycles we've gone through, we might have some good news. So the first thing I want to show you guys is and there you go, Rocco, thank you. This is the difficulty ribbon. This was created by Willy Woo. It essentially is an indicator that uses a 200, 128, 90, 60, 40, and 25 and 14-day moving average of the Bitcoin mining difficulty to create a ribbon. The idea, when you essentially can't tell the colors apart, so when the lines are really, really constricted. So let me show you. Kind of like this right here. And it's easier to see on the larger scale. But when they're close together like this, that typically indicates a good time to buy, a bottom, some say. So I decided to go back and look, all right, let's look at the bear market of 2012. Let's look at the bear market of 2015, and let's look at the bear market of 2017 or 2018. And so I have drawn on the charts here. So here we have the bear market from January of 2012 until the high when it peaked in November of 2013. Then next we have May of 2015, all the way to October of 17, which is the top of the previous bull market. And then we have the most recent one, the start of the bull market in 2019 until we reached our first top. I didn't calculate the second top, the first top, which we saw back in April of 21. So let's zoom in to our first example. And by the way, this is on the weekly chart if you're curious. So this was, I took the time from January of 2012. And if I go back to the difficulty ribbon, we can see here, can't really tell the colors apart. Okay. And so this was January of 2012. What did Bitcoin do? So if we go based off of this on-chain metric, you buy when this thing constricts. When you can't tell the colors apart, you buy it, to put it in layman's term. And what do we do? In a matter of 693 days, we gained over 17,000%. Okay? Let's go back and let's look at the next example. This I took it from mid 2015 until the height of that bull market, the top essentially, and that's going to be this box right here. Okay? June of 2015. Not even to the top, because the top would be right here. But I just did when the band started constricting again. A gain of 5,400% over a 900-day period. So a little under 3 years, we saw a 5,400% move to the upside. Now let's go take a look back at the bear market of I believe it was 2017. No, 2019. Okay, coming out of the bear market of 2019, because we're looking at bottoms here. So here, We saw, can't tell the difference in colors. These bands have constricted. And then what kind of move did we see? Well, if we zoom out and we take a look at this last bucket or this last square I have here, from January of 2019 all the way until April of last year, in 800 days, we saw a move of 1,500% to the upside. Well, guess what? Where are we now? I don't know about you, but looking at this far right corner here, I can't really see. I can't really tell the difference in colors. So these ribbons are contracting again. If I just zoom in and we see the difference here. Again, historically, this is what it has done. But we've never been in this macro climate. So take this information with a grain of salt. You see here, we want to buy when we start seeing these things constrict. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, that looks pretty constrictive there. So will we see another 1,500% move, 600% move? Who knows? But stating the obvious here and using common sense, as Bitcoin gets higher in price, the percentage yields will go from 5,400% to 1,700% to 200% to 100% to 50%. It'll decrease as time goes on, obviously, with the value of Bitcoin going up. Robin, you got anything to add? What do you think about that? You think that's interesting, right?
Pretty good. You know, but here's the thing. And no matter what chart you pull up, you know, and charts are useful tools that we can use to identify trends and past patterns, and a lot of these patterns do replicate and do play out, and you know, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. But where I'm getting at with this is that we are in new territory, and that through the lifetime of Bitcoin, we've been in economic prosperity. Bitcoin was pretty much launched at the end of the 2008 crash. And so as the economy started picking up steam, and so did Bitcoin. And ever since then, with the exception of a couple little small pullbacks, essentially Bitcoin has been in a bullish trend when it came to the global and macro economics. So now that we are in a recession and that we might go further into a recession, I do think that this trumps all of history. Because
that
all
remains to be seen.
Now, that's to be seen as well. Now, you should plan for both outcomes. And I think we could be at the bottom. I've said that many times. I think it's more likely we go further down. But
I think we need one more big leg down.
Yeah, I think one more big leg down is probably more likely. And I do think that we could also have hit the bottom already. 20K could be the bottom. I don't think it is, my personal opinion. But wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Would you be surprised if we don't go under 20K anymore? I mean, like, genuinely surprised.
Honestly, I would.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well,
I'm a long-term macro
here's
bear.
the thing. I'm never surprised by Bitcoin. Because every time you think it's not going to do something, you know, back in 2017, nobody thought Bitcoin's going to go to 20K. Everybody was talking 8,000, maybe 10,000, and then lo and behold, boom, just catapulted through those, and it got all the way to 20K. The same thing kind of happened, but on the other side, everyone's like, yo, Bitcoin's going to 100K. 100K. Everybody's screaming at the rafters. Every person that had a platform and a microphone, 100K Bitcoin. What did it do? It hit 60K, bottomed out. And so
look,
what you expect from Bitcoin, it usually does the opposite. And what scares me is that right now...
Are you saying Bitcoin's the middle child?
I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised.
Middle child.
That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin went to freaking $4,000. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the bottom. What I'm saying is that Bitcoin will shock you. And if you look at history, if you just erase the last 2 years from your memory, all of its big movements have been, oh my God, like press. Remember when the pandemic thing first happened? Everybody, Bitcoin's at 30,000, new all-time highs. You know, it was like a shock and awe thing. And people didn't think that it was going to resurgence. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever you think is going to happen probably ain't going to play out that way. That's all I'm saying. And then real quick, I just want to say to Crypto Meta, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
I got one more thing to show before we sign off. So we talk about Bollinger Bands all the time on the show here, and how we measure that measures volatility. And typically, when we see Bollinger Bands constricting, we do tend to see a big move either to the upside or downside. Well, guess what? We were constricting since yesterday, and it looks like we're getting ready to break out. Okay, so looking at this so I have this on traditional candles. Okay, but when you want to see a trend, okay, something easier, we swap over to what's called Heiken Ashi candles. And these help you filter the noise and look at just the trend. And we can see here pretty strong downtrend since 4 hours ago. So this is a 4-hour chart. So these candles represent 4 hours of trading. So I do see us moving to the downside, where if I put my little parallel channel back on here, where do my drawings go? I say we either stop at 19,900 or we go all the way down to the 17,800. But being on the 4-hour time frame, RSI is kind of right in the middle. I don't know. We'll see. But we're definitely going to be under 20K by tomorrow. You can take that to the bank. That's all I got.
Thought you don't use banks no more.
I use
Crypto
your bank. I use your bank. All right. Rocco, roll the outro.
All right.
Friends, family, to all the new members that saw us and found us and joined us today, welcome. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, thank you guys so much for joining us and kicking your week off with Sin City Crypto. Make sure you come back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Vegas time. Until then, my friends, we love you. Until tomorrow.
And tomorrow we'll talk more crypto. Today I know there's a lot of focus on legacy finance.
You ruined my
We'll get into
outro.
it.
You ruined my outro.
And
Okay.
around the blockchain tomorrow.
Around the blockchain
And around the blockchain tomorrow
Ruined
after the show.
outro again. Okay. All right. Got to see you later.
It was music, don't worry.
I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Smoking on an island, say she wanna ride with me. Took her on a flight, said all her bags from Italy. I sent her with a friend, they shopping there religiously. Whoa, whoa, yeah. She say she love me, but that's when she rockin' Prada bag. Said she ready for the next step, whoa, not so fast. Slow down, slow down, slow down, girl, don't you crash. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Cause we can mess up that pretty face, but we can fuck up that pretty lace. Tryna kiss up, I'm in your place. Man, this shit so crazy. Never thought I'd be doing shit like this again. Put that effort in, girl, then I will pay you. Crash that thing out the park, now I feel like Babe Ruth, baby. This shit I can't do, baby. No, I can't move, baby. Nothing I can't prove, baby. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. I got 16 missed calls on my phone. Times change, Mickey D's turn into Rabuchon. Kick my feet up, drink leader, smoke on a new strong. Couple margaritas, senoritas, I goof off. Question marks along your brain, wonder if you should try again. Look at me inside your braces. Can't focus when we face to face. Plenty things I could go say. Name a place I go and pay at. Said she want no boo. Been around the world, plenty things I can show you. Taking flights to GA for our soul food. Gotta pay 1K for GA at my shows too. Keep it 1K with my fans even at my lows. Ooh. That's why I'm back. Show your man the things I've showed you. Tell your man how I used to hold you, but I won't hold you. Your new man is lame and all I spoke is true. Life won't smoke for you. That sadness comes with coping too. This madness come with shit that's overdue. You strong with yourself, nobody else holding you. But I ain't holding you. You the one I need when I'm off that perk or two. Hit that thing early, got you sleep like curve for you. All these lame ass bitches I curve for you. All these packs and pearls I burn with you. It's up now, baby, it's stuck. Nigga look, but they cannot. They gon' hate, so I keep that tucked. All this ice on me like pucks. I work hard, don't need no luck. Only thing I need is my Glock. When there's bread, these birds gon' flock. When they dead, I let them rot. I ain't tryna leave you up, I said stop waiting. And I don't got time for these pussy fuckers playing. You gotta read between the lines that I am saying. Ain't got no time for no more